Taman wiped the grease from his hands and looked at the broken engine in front of him. Another day, another repair job at Nova's Edge Station. The station floated in deep space, far from Earth and far from anywhere important. Ships came here to refuel, trade, and fix their broken parts. Taman had been working here for 3 years now, and he knew every type of alien technology that passed through these docks. The workshop door slid open with a hiss. Wu Jin, the station administrator, walked in with 2 young aliens following close behind. Taman had never seen their species before. They looked almost human, but their skin had a soft blue tint and their eyes were larger, with silver pupils that seemed to glow slightly. They were identical twins, that much was obvious. "Taman, these girls need your help," Wu Jin said. His voice carried that urgent tone that usually meant trouble. "This is Lyra and Lisa, they're Valerians." The twins stepped forward together, moving in perfect sync. The one on the left, Lyra, spoke first. Her voice trembled with worry. "Please, we heard you are the best engineer on this station. We need someone who can work with systems that others cannot fix." Taman put down his tools and gave them his full attention. "What kind of problem are we talking about?" Lisa, the twin on the right, pulled out a small device and projected a hologram into the air. 2 sleek racing ships appeared in blue light, rotating slowly. They were beautiful machines, curved and elegant, unlike anything Taman had seen before. "These are our ships. We built them ourselves over 5 years, but 3 days ago, both power cores failed at the same time. Every Valerian technician we contacted said the same thing. The cores are dead and they cannot be replaced in time." "In time for what?" Taman asked, though he was already fascinated by the ship's design. Lyra's eyes brightened with desperation. "The Grand Celestial race begins in 48 hours. We have trained our whole lives for this. It only happens once every 10 years, and racers come from 12 different species across the galaxy. If we cannot race, we lose everything," Wu Jin added. "Their family honor depends on this race. It's a big deal in Valerian culture." Taman studied the hologram more closely, zooming in on the power core design. What he saw made his heart beat faster. The cores were not mechanical. They were biological, or at least partly biological. "These cores are alive?" "Yes," Lisa explained. "Valerian ships use biomechanical technology. The power core bonds with the pilot's consciousness. Our genetic signature flows through every system. The ship becomes part of us, and we become part of the ship. That is why no other species can fly our vessels properly." "And why can't you replace the cores?" Taman asked, though he was starting to understand the problem. "A biocore takes 6 months to grow and another 3 months to bond with a pilot," Lyra said. Her voice cracked slightly. "We do not have that time. The race starts in 2 days. If we miss it, we are disqualified. Our family will be shamed. Our parents were legendary racers before they died. Everyone expects us to fail. They say we are too weak, too young, too foolish to follow in our parents' footsteps." Taman could hear the pain in her voice. He knew what it felt like to have people doubt you, to expect you to fail. That was why he left Earth. People there thought humans were just average, not fast enough, not strong enough, not smart enough compared to other species. He came to this distant station to prove them wrong. "Let me see the actual ships," Taman said, "not the hologram. I need to examine them in person." The twins led him through the station corridors to their private hangar. When the doors opened, Taman stopped in his tracks. The ships were even more beautiful in real life. They were mirror images of each other, about 15 meters long with smooth surfaces that seemed to ripple like water. One was marked with silver symbols, the other with gold. Taman approached the silver ship and placed his hand on its surface. It was warm, like living skin. He could feel a faint pulse beneath his palm, weak but still there. "They are not completely dead," he muttered. "What do you mean?" Lisa asked, rushing to his side. "There is still a small amount of life in these cores, very small but present." Taman walked around the ship, his mind racing through possibilities. He had always been good at understanding alien technology. Better than most humans, actually. His brain seemed to work differently, able to see patterns and connections that others missed. "Tell me more about how the bonding works. What exactly does the pilot provide?" Lyra joined them at the ship. "The pilot provides neural energy. Our consciousness flows into the ship through the connection port. The biocore amplifies this energy and distributes it to all systems. Speed, weapons, shields, navigation, everything runs on this shared energy. And only Valerians can provide this energy?" Yes, both twins said together. Our genetic code is written into the biocore when it grows. It recognizes only us. Taemin was quiet for a long moment thinking. Then he said something that made both twins stare at him. What if someone else powered your ships? Someone whose neural patterns could adapt to the biocore instead of being pre-programmed into it? That is impossible, Lisa said. No species has that capability. Neural patterns are fixed by genetics. Human neural patterns are not fixed, Taemin said quietly. He had read the research papers. Humans had something called neural plasticity. Their brains could rewire themselves, adapt to new situations, learn new skills throughout their lives. Other species had some plasticity, but humans had more. Much more. What if I tried to bond with your ships? The twins looked at each other, then back at him. You would need to channel enormous amounts of energy through your nervous system, Lyra said. The pain would be extreme. Most species cannot handle it. Even Valerians struggle during the first bonding. But humans have high pain tolerance, Taemin said. He knew this fact well. Humans could endure injuries and stress that would incapacitate other species. It was one of the few advantages humans had. Let me try. What is the worst that can happen? You could damage your nervous system permanently, Lysa said. You could die, Taemin smiled. Then I will be careful. Show me how to connect. The twins hesitated, but desperation won over caution. They had no other choice. Lyra led Taemin to the connection port on her ship. It was a circular opening about the size of his palm, located near what would be the cockpit. Inside he could see thin tendrils of biomaterial, glowing faintly blue. Place your hand inside, Lyra instructed. The tendrils will wrap around your wrist and search for a neural connection point. If your neural pattern is compatible, they will bond. If not, they will reject you immediately. Taemin took a deep breath and pushed his hand into the opening. The tendrils moved like living things, cool and smooth against his skin. They wrapped around his wrist, then he felt them touch the inside of his arm. A sharp tingling sensation ran up to his elbow, then his shoulder. Then the pain hit. It felt like electricity and fire combined, burning through every nerve. Taemin gritted his teeth and forced himself to stay still. He could do this. Humans could do this. The ship suddenly hummed to life, and all three of them gasped in surprise. The ship's lights flickered on, one by one, running down the length of the hull like a wave. Taemin felt the biocore pulse against his consciousness, testing him, searching through his thoughts. The pain was still there, sharp and insistent, but he could handle it. He had to handle it. It is working, Lyra whispered, her voice filled with shock. The ship accepts him. Lisa moved closer, watching the energy readings on her handheld device. The power levels are rising. This should not be possible. His neural signature is completely different from ours. Taemin's vision blurred for a moment and sweat ran down his face. He could feel the ship now, really feel it. Every system, every circuit, every millimeter of the hull. It was like the ship had become an extension of his body. How much longer? He managed to ask through clenched teeth. The initial bond takes about 10 minutes, Lyra said. You need to hold the connection until it stabilizes. 10 minutes felt like an hour. The burning sensation spread through Taemin's entire body. His muscles trembled and his heart pounded hard enough that he could hear it in his ears. But he did not let go. He thought about all the times people told him humans were not special, that they were just average in a galaxy full of exceptional species. He thought about his brother Daesung back on Earth, who believed in him when no one else did. He thought about proving them all wrong. Finally, the pain began to fade. The biocore settled into a steady rhythm, syncing with his heartbeat. The tendrils around his wrist loosened slightly, no longer searching but simply resting there, maintaining the connection. He did it, Lisa said in amazement. Look at the readings. The power output is actually higher than when we had our original cores. Taemin carefully pulled his hand free from the connection port. The tendrils released him reluctantly, and he stumbled back a few steps. His legs felt weak. Lyra caught his arm, steadying him. Are you okay? She asked. I will be fine, Taemin said, though his whole body ached. One down, one more to go. Before anyone could argue, the hangar door opened. A woman in a maintenance uniform rushed in, her face tight with worry. Taemin recognized her immediately. Hay-1 was another human engineer on the station, and one of his few friends here. Taemin, what are you doing? Hay-1 demanded. She had obviously been monitoring his vital signs through the station's medical network. Your neural activity just spiked to dangerous levels. I thought you were having a seizure. I am helping these pilots, Taemin said, gesturing to the twins. They need someone to power their ships for the race. Haewon looked at the Valerians, then at the glowing ship, then back at Taemin. Are you insane? You cannot maintain that kind of neural connection for a long period. It will destroy your nervous system. The race is only 3 days, Taemin said. I can handle 3 days. 3 days of constant neural output? Haewon pulled out her tablet and started pulling up medical files. I have been researching neural interface cases ever since I saw your vital signs. There are only 12 documented cases of humans maintaining high-level neural connections. And the longest any of them lasted was 6 hours. 6 hours, Taemin, not 3 days. Half of those people suffered permanent damage. Taemin understood her concern, but he had made his decision. Humans are more adaptable than those studies show. Our brains can handle more stress than other species. We evolved that way. Evolved to survive, not to power alien spaceships, Haewon shot back. Before the argument could continue, another figure entered the hangar. This was a Valerian male, much older than the twins, wearing an official-looking uniform covered in symbols and medals. His presence commanded immediate attention. The twins both straightened and lowered their heads slightly in respect. Commander Vex, Lyra said quietly. We were not expecting you until tomorrow. Commander Vex walked slowly around the glowing ship, his expression unreadable. I came to verify your eligibility for the race. There have been questions about your qualification, given your age and your family history. His eyes fell on Taemin. And now I find a human in your hangar. What is the meaning of this? Lysa stepped forward. Our biocores failed, Commander. This human engineer has bonded with our ships to provide power. The connection is stable and strong. Vex looked at Taemin as if he were something unpleasant stuck to his boot. A human? Powering Valerian racing ships? This is absurd. Humans are known for being adequate at many things but excellent at nothing. Their technology is centuries behind ours. Their physical abilities are unremarkable. What makes you think a human could handle the energy requirements of the grand celestial race? Taemin felt anger rise in his chest, but he kept his voice calm. I just bonded with that ship successfully. The power output is actually higher than your original biocores. You can check the readings yourself. Vex did check the readings using a device from his belt. His expression shifted from dismissive to surprised to calculating. The readings are accurate, he admitted grudgingly. But maintaining this connection during a race is different from a simple bonding in a hangar. The race will push these ships to their absolute limits. The pilot needs split-second responses. The power must flow continuously without interruption. Any hesitation, any weakness, and the ships will fail. Can your primitive human nervous system truly handle that? There is only one way to find out, Taemin said. Vex studied him for a long moment. Very well. If you can bond with both ships successfully, I will certify them for the race. But understand this, human. If your connection fails during the race, these girls will be stranded in deep space, far from any help. Their deaths will be on your conscience. Are you prepared for that responsibility? Taemin looked at Lyra and Lysa. They were watching him with hope in their eyes, the kind of desperate hope that comes from having no other options. He thought about what they had told him about their parents, about the people who expected them to fail. He knew exactly how that felt. I am prepared, Taemin said. He walked to Lysa's ship, the one marked with gold symbols. This time he knew what to expect, but that did not make it easier. When he placed his hand into the connection port, the pain returned immediately, just as sharp as before. The biocore of this ship was more resistant, taking longer to accept his neural pattern. Taemin felt his knees buckle, but he locked them straight and held firm. Haewon watched his vital signs on her tablet, whispering urgently. Heart rate at 180, neural activity beyond safe levels. Taemin, you need to stop, but Taemin did not stop. He pushed harder, forcing his consciousness into the ship's systems. Humans were stubborn, maybe the most stubborn species in the galaxy. When other species would quit, humans kept going. That was their real strength. The ship resisted for another minute, then suddenly surrendered. The connection locked into place and golden light flooded through the hull. Taemin pulled his hand free and collapsed to his knees, breathing hard. His vision had dark spots and his whole body shook. Both ships now hummed with power, their lights bright and steady. The energy readings showed levels that exceeded the original specifications. Commander Vex checked the data 3 times as if he could not believe what he was seeing. This is unprecedented. Vex said quietly. The human provides more power than a standard biocore. How is this possible? Because humans do not quit, Taman said, slowly getting back to his feet. His legs still trembled, but he refused to stay down. That is what we are good at. We endure. Vex looked at him with new eyes, though the disdain had not completely disappeared. I will certify the ships for the race, but I warn you all, if this fails, if this human's connection breaks during competition, you will be disqualified permanently. The race officials do not tolerate incomplete ships on the course. They will eject you immediately, and your family name will be marked as failures for all time. We understand, the twins said together. After Vex left, Haiwan helped Taemin sit down on a supply crate. She scanned him with her medical device, shaking her head at the readings. You are a fool, you know that. A brave fool, but still a fool. Maybe, Taemin admitted. But these girls need help, and I can provide it. Is that not reason enough? Haiwan sighed. Just promise me you will be careful. I do not want to be the one who has to tell your brother that you burned out your brain-powering alien racing ships. Taemin smiled weakly. I promise. Lyra and Lysa stood together, looking at their glowing ships with tears in their eyes. For the first time in days, they had real hope. And that hope had come from the most unlikely source. A human engineer who refused to accept that humans were just average. 24 hours before the race, Taemin discovered that bonding with the ships was the easy part. Actually coordinating with the twins during flight was something completely different. He sat in the observation room while Lyra and Lysa took their ships through basic maneuvers. In the training zone near the station, the zone was a large empty space marked with holographic checkpoints and obstacles. Through the window, he could see the two ships moving, but they were clumsy, jerking awkwardly through turns that should have been smooth. Taemin felt every movement through his neural connection. The ships were his responsibility now, and he could feel when they needed more power for acceleration, less for turning, bursts for emergency maneuvers. But he was always 1 second too slow or 1 second too fast. The twins were thinking like pilots, and he was thinking like an engineer. They were not in sync. This is not working. Lisa's voice came through the communication system, frustration clear in her tone. The power surges are coming at the wrong moments. When I need acceleration, there is a delay. When I need to brake, too much power flows to the engines. I am trying, Taemin said, pressing his hands against his temples. The connection gave him a constant headache, and lack of sleep was not helping. Just give me more time to learn your patterns. We do not have time, Lyra responded. The race starts tomorrow. We need to move as one unit, not 3 separate pieces fighting each other. The practice session ended badly, with both ships returning to the hangar. The twins climbed out looking defeated. Taemin met them on the hangar floor, feeling just as discouraged. Maybe Vex was right, Lisa said quietly. Maybe this is impossible. Before Taemin could respond, a new voice spoke from the hangar entrance. Nothing is impossible. You are just approaching it wrong. They all turned to see an older human man walking toward them. He was tall and lean, with gray hair and eyes that had seen many years of space travel. Taemin recognized him immediately. Jiho was a retired cargo pilot who lived on the station. He was a legend among human spacers, known for flying through situations that would have killed most people. Jiho, Taemin said in surprise. What are you doing here? Haiwan told me about your situation. I came to help. Jiho studied the ships with an appreciative eye. Beautiful machines. And you bonded with both of them? Impressive. But you are thinking about this wrong. You are trying to be a power generator, just feeding them energy. That is not how a real connection works. What do you mean? Lyra asked. Jiho walked closer to the twins. In long-haul cargo runs, human pilots often work in teams. One person cannot stay alert for weeks at a time. So we develop techniques to share consciousness, to predict each other's actions before they happen. It is not telepathy. It is pattern recognition. Humans are very good at finding patterns. He turned to Taemin. You need to stop thinking like an engineer and start thinking like a pilot. Feel what they are going to do before they do it. How? Taemin asked. Meditation and practice. Come, I will teach you. Jiho led Taemin to a quiet corner of the hangar and had him sit on the floor. Close your eyes. Focus on the connection to the ships. Do not think about power levels or energy output. Just feel the rhythm of the biocores. They pulse like hearts. Match your breathing to that pulse. Taemin did as instructed. At first, his mind was too busy, jumping from thought to thought. But slowly he found the rhythm. The two biocores pulsed slightly out of sync with each other, one just a fraction of a second behind the other. He matched his breathing to both rhythms at once, inhaling with one pulse, exhaling with the other. Good, Jiho said softly. Humans have an ability that most species do not understand. We can enter what we call a flow state. Time seems to slow down. Our reactions become instinctive rather than conscious. This is what you need. Let go of trying to control everything. Just flow with the twins. They practiced for hours. Taemin learned to quiet his mind, to feel the ships and the twins as extensions of himself rather than separate entities. It was exhausting in a different way than the physical pain of bonding. This was mental exhaustion, but also mental growth. While Taemin meditated, the twins told Jiho about their parents, about the race, about what they were trying to prove. Jiho listened carefully, nodding at times, asking questions at others. Your parents were great racers? Jiho asked. The best, Lyra said with pride and sadness mixed together. They won the Grand Celestial race twice. No one else has ever won it more than once. They died 5 years ago in a training accident. A power surge caused an explosion. After that, everyone said our family line was cursed. They said we should give up racing, that we would only bring more shame. But you did not give up, Jiho observed. No, Lisa said firmly. We built these ships to honor their memory. We want to show everyone that we are worthy of the family name. But without Taemin, we would have failed before we even started. We owe him everything, Jiho smiled. Then you must help him understand you better. Racing is not just about speed and skill. It is about trust. You must trust that he will provide power when you need it. And he must trust that you will fly well with what he gives you. Trust is built through understanding. For the rest of the day, the twins taught Taemin everything about Valerian racing culture. They explained the philosophy behind their flying style, the way they thought about space and movement, the split-second decisions that separated winners from losers. They showed him recordings of their parents racing, and Taemin began to see patterns in the way they moved. The twins flew almost exactly like their parents. The same aggressive style, the same bold maneuvers. As evening approached, Taemin received a video call from Earth. His younger brother Daesung appeared on the screen, grinning widely. I heard you are doing something crazy again, Daesung said. Powering alien racing ships, really? Really, Taemin confirmed. How did you find out? Word travels fast in the space community. Everyone is talking about it. A human engineer bonding with Valerian biotech? That is huge news. Daesung's expression became more serious. Are you sure about this? The medical risks are not small. I am sure, Taemin said. These girls need help. And honestly, I need to do this for myself too. I need to prove that humans can do extraordinary things. Daesung was quiet for a moment, then he smiled again. You remember when we were kids and everyone said you would never amount to anything because you were not interested in normal careers? You proved them wrong then, and you will prove them wrong now. That is what we do, brother. We show the galaxy what humans are made of. After the call ended, Taemin felt more determined than ever. He returned to the training zone with the twins for an evening practice session. This time, something was different. Taemin did not think about what he was doing. He just felt the ships, felt the twins' intentions, and let the power flow naturally. Lyra entered a sharp turn, and Taemin fed power to the maneuvering thrusters before she even touched the controls. Lysa needed a burst of speed, and the energy was already there waiting for her. They moved through the obstacle course 3 times faster than before, flying in perfect synchronization. Yes, Lysa shouted over the communication channel. That is it. That is the feeling we needed. They practiced through the night, pushing the ships harder and harder. Taemin's body protested the constant neural strain. His nose started bleeding halfway through and his vision blurred several times. But he pushed through it, drawing on that stubborn human endurance that Jiho had talked about. By dawn, they were moving as one entity. The ships responded instantly to the twins' thoughts, and Taemin provided power with 0 delay. They executed complex maneuvers that most racers would not attempt, knowing that the power would always be there when they needed it. Jiho watched from the observation room, impressed. Haewon stood beside him, monitoring Taemin's vital signs with increasing worry. He cannot keep this up for 3 days, Haewon said. His body is already showing signs of severe stress. Humans have survived worse, Jiho replied. Sometimes we surprise ourselves with what we can endure. Have faith in him. When the practice finally ended, Taemin collapsed in his chair in the observation room. Every muscle in his body ached, and his head pounded like someone was hitting it with a hammer. But he was smiling. "We can do this," he said to the twins as they joined him. "We can actually win this race." Lyra and Lisa looked at each other, then at Taemin. They both moved forward and placed their hands on his shoulders. A Valerian gesture of deep respect and gratitude. "In our culture," Lyra said softly, "when someone powers another person's ship, they become part of the family. By our tradition and by our choice, you are now our brother. We will race together, win together, or fail together, but we will do it as family." Taemin felt emotion tighten his throat. He had come to this distant station alone, looking to prove himself. He never expected to find a family here. "Then let us make our family proud tomorrow," he said. The race was only hours away, and for the first time, Taemin truly believed they had a chance. Taemin woke up in a medical bay, his head feeling like it had been split open and put back together wrong. White lights glared down at him, too bright. He tried to sit up, but his body would not cooperate. Every muscle felt weak, drained of all energy. "Do not move yet," a calm voice said beside him. A human woman in a medical uniform appeared in his vision. "I am Dr. Bora. You have been unconscious for 18 hours. Your neural system suffered extreme stress. You are lucky to be alive." "The race," Taemin croaked, his throat dry. "Did they win?" Bora smiled and handed him a cup of water. "They won. First place just as you planned. Now rest. You have visitors waiting, but I need to check your vitals first." She ran several scans, asking him questions about his vision, his memory, his sense of touch. Everything seemed to work, though everything also hurt. Finally, she nodded with satisfaction. "You will make a full recovery. Most species would have suffered permanent neural damage from what you did. But humans have remarkable healing capabilities. Your neural pathways are already beginning to repair themselves." She paused. "That said, I strongly recommend you never do anything like this again. You pushed your body far beyond safe limits." "I will keep that in mind," Taemin said, though he was already thinking that he would probably do it again if needed. That was just how humans were built. They did what needed to be done even when it was dangerous. Bora left, and a moment later Lyra and Lisa rushed through the door. They both had tears streaming down their faces. They reached his bedside and each took one of his hands. "You stupid, brave, wonderful human," Lyra said through her tears. "We thought we lost you. When your connection cut off, we were terrified. The medical team grabbed you immediately," Lisa added. "Your heart had stopped. They had to restart it. We have been waiting here ever since, hoping you would wake up." "I am fine," Taemin assured them, squeezing their hands. "Just tired. Tell me about the race. What happened after I passed out?" The twins looked at each other. Then both started talking at once, their excitement overflowing. They described crossing the finish line, the moment of pure joy when they realized they had won. They talked about Thorn's shocked face, about how the other racers gathered around afterward wanting to know how the twins had maintained such high power output during the solar dive. "The Arbiter, Kelna, she was amazing," Lyra said. "When Thorn protested our victory, claiming we used illegal technology, she reviewed all the data. She announced to everyone that our power source was a human engineer, and that cross-species cooperation was not just legal but should be celebrated." "Thorn was so angry," Lisa continued. "He demanded that human assistance should be banned from future races." But Kelna shut him down. She said that the race was about innovation and skill, and we had shown both. We did not break any rules. We just found a solution that no one else had thought of. Someone knocked on the door and Commander Vex entered. The stern Valerian officer looked different than before. His expression was softer, almost humble. He approached Taemin's bed and did something unexpected. He bowed his head in respect. "Human engineer Taemin," Vex said formally, "I owe you an apology. I underestimated your capabilities and insulted your species. You have proven me wrong in every way. What you accomplished was extraordinary. You powered 2 racing ships for 3 days straight, through conditions that would have destroyed most biocores. And you did it with no training, no preparation, just pure determination and courage." Taemin was too surprised to speak for a moment. "Thank you, Commander. That means a lot coming from you." Vex straightened. "The Valerian Elder Council has taken notice of your achievement. They wish to offer you honorary Valerian status and invite you to work with our top engineers. We want to study how human neural patterns could be integrated into our biomechanical systems. This could revolutionize space travel for multiple species. I would be honored, Taemin said. But I have a condition. Any technology we develop must be shared freely with all species, including humans. No one should have exclusive access. Vex smiled, a rare expression on his usually stern face. Agreed. The galaxy will benefit from this cooperation. After Vex left, Wu Jin arrived with the official-looking document. This is a contract, the station administrator explained. The station owners want to build you your own advanced research facility right here at Nova's Edge. Full funding, your own team, whatever equipment you need. They believe that human-alien technology integration is the next big frontier, and they want Nova's Edge to be the center of that research. Taemin looked at the twins. What do you two think? Should I stay here? You must stay, Lyra said immediately. You are our brother now. Family stays together. Besides, Lisa added with a grin, we need someone to power our ships for the next race. The galactic circuit starts in 6 months. We are already registered. Taemin laughed, even though it made his head hurt. You two are going to kill me. Never, they both said together. We will just make you stronger. Over the next few days, the news of their victory spread across the galaxy. Humans everywhere celebrated, proud that one of their own had achieved something so remarkable. Daesung called every day, sometimes multiple times, wanting to hear every detail. You are famous now, Daesung said during one call. There are human kids on Earth wearing shirts with your face on them. They are calling you the engineer who powers dreams. Taemin felt embarrassed by all the attention, but also quietly proud. He had come to this distant station feeling like humans had nothing special to offer the galaxy. Now he had proven that humans were not just adequate or average. They were adapters, survivors, connectors. They could bridge gaps between species that others thought impossible. A week after the race, there was a formal victory celebration. The twins received their trophy, a beautiful crystal sculpture representing the 3 stages of the race. They stood on the platform together, accepting the cheers of the crowd. Then they did something that shocked everyone. They called Taemin up to stand with them. This victory belongs to 3 people, not 2, Lyra announced to the gathered audience. Our brother Taemin made this possible. Without him, we would not be here. Humans may not have the speed of Valerians, Lysa continued. They may not have the strength of Krogans or the telepathy of Mindari, but they have something equally valuable. They have the ability to connect with other species, to adapt to new challenges, and to endure when others would give up. They are the bridges that hold the galaxy together. The audience applauded, and for the first time, Taemin felt truly accepted. Not as a lesser species trying to prove himself, but as an equal member of the galactic community. Later that night, Taemin stood in his new research facility, which was still mostly empty but full of potential. Jiho and Haewon came to visit him there. So what now? Haewon asked. You have fame, honor, a fancy new laboratory. What does the famous human engineer do next? Taemin looked at the empty workbenches, already imagining them filled with new technologies. I build something new. Power cores that blend human neural patterns with alien biomechanics. Systems that let different species work together more efficiently. I prove that humans are not just good at connecting with alien technology. We are good at connecting species to each other. Ambitious, Jiho observed. But if anyone can do it, you can. You already did the impossible once, with help, Taemin said. I could not have done it alone. That is another thing humans are good at. We know when to ask for help, and we know how to work together with anyone willing to try. The door opened, and Lyra and Lisa entered carrying food containers. We brought dinner, Lyra announced. You have been working too hard, and Bora said you need to eat more to help your recovery. They all sat together on the floor of the empty laboratory, sharing a meal and talking about the future. Taemin looked around at his strange new family, a mix of humans and aliens who had come together for a common purpose. This was what humanity brought to the galaxy, he realized. Not superior strength or speed or intelligence, but the ability to find connections where others saw only differences. The willingness to take risks for others. The stubborn refusal to give up even when the odds seemed impossible. So, about that galactic circuit race, Taemin said to the twins. What exactly does it involve? Both twins grinned. Oh, it is much harder than the Grand Celestial race, Lysa said cheerfully. Longer, more dangerous, more competitors. It will probably nearly kill you again, Lyra added. But it will be worth it. Taman smiled and raised his cup. Then I am in. What is life without a little danger? They all raised their cups in a toast, human and alien together, already planning their next impossible adventure. Because that was what they did now. They pushed boundaries, broke barriers, and showed the galaxy that when different species worked together, truly extraordinary things became possible. And somewhere in the galaxy, other humans heard this story and felt a new sense of pride. They were not the fastest or the strongest or the smartest species, but they were the connectors, the bridge builders, the ones who refused to quit. They were humanity, and that was more than enough.